want to talk today about the idea of physical culture and why it's important and why there is no separation between physical culture and the rest of the culture that we're trying to present. We've gotten fond of saying here in Operation Werewolf that physical training is never just physical. And what we mean by this is that just as in exercise, where there are transferable concepts from one exercise to the next, for example, the fact that a deadlift, a kettlebell swing, and a mace shovel are all a hinge movement, there are also transferable concepts from the one larger thing to the next. In other words, when we perform a physical workout, there are transferable concepts of that into every other aspect of our lives. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. One of the reasons that the physical culture for us is so important is because we recognize the fact that the body in the physical form is not somehow lesser or disconnected from the mind, the spirit, or any of these other concepts, but is part of a whole. And that in order to have a proper chariot for the inner fire to go about in is very important. And that roots us in the concept of physical culture. Also, we understand the physical body as sort of a living yantra, and by that I mean a machine that generates fire and energy. One of the ways that this fire and energy is created within the body is to attain disciplines and to perform austerities that are designed specifically for the generation of that internal fire. For us, this absolutely encompasses and includes the concepts of weight training, martial arts, and so on and so forth. The other reason that physical culture remains so important here within Operation Werewolf is because if someone tells you that they meditate 10 minutes a day, 2 years down the road, there absolutely should be quantifiable benefits from that, but it's very easy to fake or to lie about. It's very difficult to fake a 500-pound deadlift. It's very difficult to fake winning 3 out of 5 rolling matches against a purple belt. With physical progress, whether that's with a martial art or with weight training, there are quantifiable results to that discipline that allow people who are evaluating someone's progress or pressure or accountability by these quantifiable progressions. If someone begins with Operation Werewolf and they can bench press 135 pounds and squat 225 pounds, and they claim over the course of a year that they've been training hard and that they've been performing the disciplines and the austerities that go along with this, but at the end of that year, they're still only capable of benching 135 and squatting 225. It means that either A, they've become injured, or B, they're a liar, or C, they are not participating and practicing that devotion or that austerity with any focus or discipline, and they need to improve. Just like with this, if one starts training in a martial art and within a year or 2 years there is no quantifiable improvement based on pitting oneself against another in competition, again, they're either not going, they're not training, or they're not taking that training with the type of discipline needed in order to improve it. So these are unfakeable concepts. But we have to remember that when we perform physical training, this physical training it's an act of devotion, but it's an act of generating that holy fire, that tapas for us, because like calls out to like. And if we are basically transmitting our frequency out into the world with an antenna, that antenna requires that internal fire in order to function and to make the connection with other frequencies that are being broadcast out there. If your signal is weak, you will make connection with other weak signals. If your signal is strong, you will make connection with other strong signals and soon find that, as the man said, you are not going through life on your own, but instead have powerful forces to call upon for aid. So remember this when you're training. Physical training is never just physical.
Ganga